Barack Obama's Democrat socialists have undertaken an historic campaign of undermining the safety, security, and prosperity of the citizens of the United States. In so doing, they have common cause with America's enemies, who would like nothing better than to see our defeat and our people enslaved. So what if I were to tell you there is a group of so-called Republicans in one of the most conservative states in the Union who have been working to make sure these leftists can continue to do great damage to our people? As goes Texas, so goes the nation. A tale that's afflicting far too many other states in our union is the subject of today's guest-driven preamble. Despite the historic and some say traitorous conduct of the Democrat Party for 12 of the last 16 years, so-called Republicans like Speaker Jason White of Mississippi have decided to give Democrats power they didn't earn at the ballot box. Despite the GOP being in the majority in Mississippi, White has appointed Democrats to chair powerful committees. Mr. White used to be a Democrat, you see, but shifting demographics and Democrat anti-Americanism made it impossible to get elected as a Democrat in his district, so he switched parties, but apparently didn't switch ideology. One might expect this in Mississippi, but in Texas, one of the most conservative states in the Union? It's true. In 2009, a man by the name of Joe Straus cobbled together 11 fake Republicans and did a deal with leftists in the Democrat Party so that Democrats and a greedy cabal of Republicans would choose the Texas House Speaker. And since 2009, the Republican Speaker, from Joe Straus to Dennis Bonnen to Dade Phelan, have been approved by leftists in the destructive Democrat Party. Democrats didn't throw their support behind a fake Republican speaker for nothing. These speakers sold out their voters in an effort to deliver for Democrats and thwart conservative legislation. These men, and I use the term loosely, exploited the trust and the goodwill of the Texas Republican voter to enrich themselves and garner tremendous power. That is until they overreached. As you all know, leftists always do. After the absurd and falsely predicated impeachment attempt of conservative Attorney General Ken Paxton, the majority of Texas voters became hip to what I call the Gang of 11 coup of 2009. In the last party convention, the people of Texas put safeguards in place so that charlatans posing as Republicans couldn't sell out the voting majority in Texas anymore. Rules were adopted. The rules say that the majority will choose their speaker, and only the majority. Rule 44 states that if any so-called Republican breaks the rules, the party will be empowered to kick that politician off the ballot as a Republican. The idea is that you should not be allowed to empower Marxist Democrats and still call yourself and run as a Republican. The GOP, a private organization, has every right to protect its brand. How many of you would want Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer wandering around saying, "I'm a Republican, I'm a Republican"? Would that not sully and soil those of you who call yourselves Republicans? When the Texas Republicans met to elect a speaker, rounds of voting didn't produce a clear winner. When it became clear that the new Gang of 11 coup poster boy, Dusty Burrows, the Democrats' choice for GOP speaker when he couldn't win, a gang of Democrat-enabling left-wing fake Republicans got up and they left and immediately went off to start colluding with leftist Democrats. This event was confirmed by someone who was there. Representative Ryan Harrison confirmed it on the Chris Salcedo Radio Show.
Well, unfortunately, there were, despite being all grown adults, too many of them threw what I can only be described as a temper tantrum and stormed out of the room when the votes were not going their way. The people who left, and this has been confirmed to me firsthand, so it's not rumor or speculation or gossip, when they left, they almost immediately went and sat down with the leadership of the Democrat caucus in the Texas House to hash out a plan where they could continue what we've had for almost 2 decades, which is a sort of coalition sellout government where far left liberal Democrats are part of the coalition that controls the people's body in the Texas legislature.
Next week, the Texas House will vote for Speaker. Now, by rule, all 88 House Republicans are supposed to vote for the caucus winner. His name is David Cook. But many of these Republicans will vote to give control and power to leftist Democrats, even after watching their own voters suffer all of the death, pain, financial hardship, crime, and degradation of our society promoted and sponsored by the Socialist Democrat Party for 12 of the last 16 years. What do you call a Republican that votes to give Democrats power they didn't earn? Well, you call that Republican a Democrat. That's all well and good if Democrats are in the majority, but we, the people in Texas and elsewhere around this country, elected Republicans and rejected Democrats' left-wing extremism. If Texas falls, my friends, to leftists, our nation is finished. Right now, Texas serves as the only counterbalance to California, a state that's on fire literally because of the incompetent, unqualified, and subversive government that rules that state. For this reason, and for the fact that far too many Republican states are afflicted with these so-called rhinos who are committed to aiding Democrats and thwarting President Trump and the America First agenda. It's time our people outed these betrayers and drove them from office. Democrats have done enough harm to our nation. So-called Republicans shouldn't be helping them do it. You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.